Yeah, I'm Morgan Kennedy. I am the Vice President of Partnerships and Premium Experiences at the Minnesota Vikings. Also a longtime supporter of Styles and Tom and an Ascent member.
Thank you.
My journey with Ascent, well, Ascent really started for me over 10 years ago when Tom was starting Studio E and being a part of Studio E and really understanding how to move forward as a leader. And so for me, it was both a leader and a leader in my personal life. And so they've become incredible mentors and supporters as I've navigated lots of different changes in my life. But Ascent really comes at a great time for me. And each of those periods has been different. But now, as I think about what it means to be a leader, what it means to be a mom and a wife and a community member, and trying to pull all of those pieces together to feel really balanced and well-rounded has been really important to me. My favorite part of being an Ascent member is my peer group, really gaining perspective from people who might not be in the same circles as me and see the world from a different lens that provides impact and information and feedback along the way that allows me to be better every day and get new perspectives. Yes, at one point in my career, I inherited a new team. And the team had kind of challenges and conflict, and being able to bring that challenge to a group of people who come from leadership perspectives from a variety of areas was really helpful. So brought it to a peer group at one point where I got perspectives from people who are entrepreneurs and people who are in corporate and people who are in banking and finance, and seeing all of the elements that they could add to a conversation and questions for me to solve a problem better, to really create a roadmap forward for me to gain trust and clarity and build culture for my team has been really impactful for me. For me, what I keep talking about is the perspective shift. It's really easy to get into groups that are very similar to you, believe in the same things, have similar backgrounds. But what I love about coming here is you center the things that are really important in life, which goes kind of to the four pillars of adventure, connection, pursuit, and well-being. And with that, the perspectives that come to the table, everybody I know who has met somebody through here has been introduced to somebody that they would never even think possible that they would interact with, talk to, gain a new perspective, a different point of view. And for me, that's what feels so different about here. And so coming here with an open mind and an open heart to be informed and challenged differently, I think is what makes this space so special and different. I don't know how to articulate this, but if I think about if I can retrospect back into Studio E land, every period of engagement with Studio E was a different period in my life. And so I think the interesting part about your question is I don't know who I'm going to be in a year. And so I don't know what Studio E will mean to me in a year. Ascent will mean to me in a year. But I do know that in order for me to keep growing, it's a couple of things. It's one, the support of people who want the best for you all the time and want to help you solve problems. Two, it's also around really centering kind of those four pillars and knowing that at each different season of my life, something will mean something different, and that I keep learning through that view. And then third, I would say is I really love and enjoy my peer group. And I want to find more ways to get more deeply involved in the community. But my peer group fills a lot of that bucket for me. So I think trying to figure out how to use and leverage more of that along the way. If I think back about the most important moments I've had, or a learning that I've had, or a speaker that really resonated with me, it's because I came at it from a different perspective of where I was. And yes, I have dreams and hopes and goals, but I don't know what that next chapter will mean for how I leverage Ascent to help me grow into that, but I know it will happen.
Whatever you like.
Sure. My name is Kaylin Rogers, and I am an entrepreneur and strategist. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time in community. It's been something that I would say I've studied. It's something I've worked on professionally. It's something that I spend a lot of my free time and my effort and my energy on this planet doing. And so I am allergic to transactional communities. You can go to a lot of networking groups. You can go to a lot of networking events, and I go to almost none anymore. Haven't in years at this point, because when you're in those spaces, it just feels gross. feels yucky. People are there to get something out of you. They are there with one purpose in mind. They are there not trying to build something. 1 + 1 does not equal 3. It is 1 - 1 = 0. And so I don't have any interest in non-generative spaces. I don't have any interest in non-collaborative spaces because we do more when we're working well together. So my first true Ascent experience was going on the retreat several years ago. And I thought it would be interesting. I thought it would be fun. I didn't have low hopes, but it definitely came through in a way that I could not have anticipated the shift that I would have. So it's not just the structure that comes through Ascent of tools and resources and truly just ways of programming your own mind to be better, to serve you more, but it's the fact that you have other truly incredible humans doing it alongside of you. So there's a shared value set, there's a shared commitment, there's a shared reciprocity and generativity. So it's the opposite of transactional, it's the opposite of extractive, and at this point in my life, I don't have any tolerance for that anymore. So, and I've said this to plenty of folks within Ascent, but Ascent is the only community that I have ever found that matches my values, matches my needs, matches my ambition, and meets me in community. I think most leaders and entrepreneurs would tell you that there's no shortage of challenges, right? You can go plenty of places to get challenged. I get challenged waking up in the morning, not just because of my job, but because some days I choose to climb mountains, metaphorically or literally. So often what you need isn't someone to challenge you more, it's someone to help you get through your challenges, and that shows up in a lot of different ways. Guides who can say, I have been there before, I understand, here's what it was like for me, here's what I learned in that process, can help you not make the same mistakes. So we all get to go make new mistakes. I think having a community around you of people who are doing similar things means that you're able to learn a lot. Not just about the challenges that you are not yet facing or are already over, but they are facing, but also about the ones that you're in. And then there's a generativity of learning in community where when you're learning and they're learning and you're all learning together, you're able to share resources, tools, and even just emotional resources. I get it. I am there, or I have been there, or I understand what being there is like. I think it's really helpful to combine that with cognitive toolkits and resources and experts. So probably 18 months ago, when I was in a really stressful time in my business, I found myself again at a point where my coping mechanisms weren't working as well as they should anymore, right? My exercising was not working well enough, eating well is not working well enough, going to therapy is not working well enough, so I was just not sleeping, couldn't sleep. And we talked about that in one of my peer groups. That was like the issue that we decided to discuss, and I feel like I'm a pretty well-resourced person when it comes to tools. My group had a lot of other tools to share that I hadn't considered. And not just the resources and the knowledge, but then the baked-in support to be able to try those tools, to give feedback on it, to say this is or isn't working, and to have feelings about that in a safe space. I was able to move through that issue much faster and more fluidly than I would have otherwise been able to. So the challenges that you come up against, whether it's you've got incredible burnout and it's really time for a reset, so it's time for a retreat, or I'm really stuck in my own head on these things, you need to be working with a coach or a guide, or I'm just in the middle of the trenches and I'm trying to show up as my best self in leadership for my company. How do I do that? You've got a peer group for that. So as I bounce around in entrepreneurial challenges, I found the structures, the spaces, and the humans that are meant to help face those challenges. I say about Ascent that you have to be at the level. And if you're not at the level, this is not going to be the right space for you. So if you are not working on yourself and your purpose on this planet in a multitude of dimensions, it's probably not your space. Ascent attracts people who are working not just hard, but really smart. They're working on themselves, they're working on their families and their communities, they're working in their businesses and on what their soul's purpose is on this planet. And so without it being too woo-woo, which is actually part of what I love, is the balance between emotional and community and structured and business, got a really nice balance in Ascent of that. So the right kinds of people for Ascent are people who already have remarkable demonstrated success. They do. You're in a room full of leaders who have done very cool things. But they also don't have the hubris or the ego to think that they're not here to do more and that they need to learn more and grow more and continue to improve alongside others in order to do what they need to do on the planet. So I love that the people that I know through Ascent are some of my favorite people. They are smart, they are capable, they are accomplished, they are dedicated, there's great perseverance and grit, and there's incredible empathy. It's a really generative space. So you come here to build in community and build yourself and build your business. I mean, I'm a sucker for retreats. I really like the retreats. I think that a lot of people host retreats. I think a lot of people that think they know how to program a retreat, but I think a retreat is an incredible combination of elements where you have to have the right place, the right setting, the right mix of people, the right structure of activities, the right flow, and enough structure with flexibility to drive towards some really exceptional outcomes. So I have not ever seen people come away from retreats, and I personally have experienced this. I've never seen people come away from retreats better. So you come away from a few days up in the woods, and sure, you're gonna feel a little bit better if you're just doing that on your own. But coming out of an Ascent retreat, you have clarity and confidence and commitment to your purpose that absolutely is a game changer. I mean, great, do it. I think 3 words is hard to describe Ascent. I think if you know, you know. I think when you are looking for this kind of value, that when it strikes you, you know exactly what you just found. But it's also not the right fit for a lot of people who are not on the kind of journey that Ascent facilitates and creates. So I would say, great, do it if you're the right person for it. Well, if mine is not the best, then I'm going to be angry. Yeah, great.
I like competition as well. I would say it was the best.
Yeah, hey, my name is John Lenz. I'm a husband, father, athlete, and accidental entrepreneur. I'm the founder and CEO of a breakthrough or a marketing and technology firm. Sure, I was referred by kind of a trusted mentor. I first met Tom, and then I met Styles, and kind of wanted to be a part of what they were doing. And so my first experience was the Expedition 34. So that was the 90-day program, and it was also the first one they did during COVID. So I joined at a precarious time, but they made it work. I got a lot of value out of it, and I think within the next year. After that, probably within 6 months, I joined a peer group, and I've been part of a peer group since then.
Yeah.
Team Barracuda. I mean, that's our peer group.
Say it again.
Team Barracuda, the apex ocean predator. Yeah. So if there were, it's not a race, but if it were, we'd win. Kind of top of the food chain. I've developed such intimate and honest relationships with the other individuals in my peer group. It is humbling. I oftentimes just have imposter syndrome in the room as we're like sharing insights, or when someone really nails something. When I had a new member who I think very fondly of joined our group, and it was our first session, and it was my issue to process, and she played me like a fiddle and read me like a book, and I was like, wow. I need you. Like, that was amazing. Thank you. Can I somehow keep you in my life? And that individual, it's been a couple of years, and she's still in our peer group. But even people who have moved on, I think there is such a permission and even encouragement to share and be vulnerable and know that like that stays here. So it's just been really powerful. I'm excited to support the mission of Ascent and like be part of that transition from Studio E to Ascent. I think my biggest thing is something you're already doing was, hey, we have these awesome peer groups, but I don't get to interact with the other awesome peer groups. So developing relationships beyond just the intimate relationships I have with 8 to 10 people, having opportunities to go to events at Glass House or like actually connect. But yeah, hiking around Lebanon was also awesome. Just other opportunities to get together with other people and experience stuff. So I think the base camp sessions and some of the pop-up like adventures are kind of achieving that. Or I met a random dude, the Ascent Connect, right? So just sort of intentionally networking with other people in the community that you wouldn't otherwise meet is pretty powerful. Well, this is something I struggle with.
Yeah.
How do I describe the value? I mean, I'm such an advocate in surrounding yourself with high performing people, and it definitely, like today, I didn't really want to go. I was kind of in a weird mood, but I am inspired. Shared some, amazing perspectives were shared. There's notes. I like open up my notebook from the last month. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's such, like, this is the type of thinking and the headspace that I need to be in. So I guess I'd share it's a wonderful monthly peer group that is so much more than that. And especially when there is a sea of other peer groups and other organizations to be a part of that are constantly marketing. Like, this is what I've committed to, and I'm so appreciative of the way that it has grown and evolved and iterated based on like our feedback. Ascent is awesome. I don't know how to summarize it. Like, every significant business challenge or issue that I have encountered over the last 5 years has been aided by the support of people in this community, whether it's commercial real estate transactions, contract law, just general business advisement, or like in my peer group, I think there's 3 other individuals that own or lead professional services firms. Like, oh my gosh, that's so helpful. So just, yes, the monthly issue processing is great. The real talk on the side, and being able to phone a friend basically whenever is also immensely valuable. Even just sharing perspectives, and getting perspectives that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. So it's pretty powerful.